You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids. Welcome to Season 3 and episode number 40 of the Not Quite Daily Beaver Morning Show. For those moments when you want to get your winter's day started off with a nice big bowl of piping hot Beaver Grizzly goodness, yum, 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 yum. Today, recording day is Friday, January 13th, 2023. And it's going to be a snowy day here at the Beaver Lodge. Belated Merry Christmas to all our Eastern Rite Catholic and Orthodox as well as Coptic Christian kids. I hope your celebrations were filled with love and laughter and family, however you define it. And also a belated Happy Ribbon Skirt Day. Apparently we had our first one not too long ago, and so it's always good to mention it. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, eh? And I'm just beyond glad that you, dear skits, have given us the gift of your attention once again. And if you happen to be here for the first time, welcome. We're glad to see you. Good morning, Kit Lazy Sunday with Wade and Doe. Good morning, Kitty Lane. Good morning, Kit Saucy. Good morning, Kit Linda M. Good morning, Kit Pasta Gabe. Hey, nice to see you. It's been a while. I hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful honeymoon. And good morning to you too, Kid BB. Yes, January 4th was National Ribbon Day, indeed. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. And, of course, we cannot go 1 millimeter further, not one, without taking time to say hello to our podcast's fine and furry friend, our show's gregarious growler. Good morning, Mr. Grizzly.
Good morning, Mr. Beaver. How are you this morning?
It's been a very short night, but I am surprisingly chipper and energetic. How's your mental health?
Chose pour moi. Yeah, like I went to bed, like we finished recording last night. I went to bed and lied there till about 2. Then the alarm went off at 5.
Yep. I'm sorry, I have a bit of an itchy nose, kids. Hold on. Would you please just entertain the kids for a second?
It means you're going to kiss a fool if you have an itchy nose. An itchy palm, one of them means you're going to get money or lose money. If it's the right palm, it's get money. If it's the left palm, it's lose money. I can't recall. But yeah, if you have an itchy nose, you're going to kiss a fool. So
well, here's me kissing a fool.
There you go. There you go.
Just please entertain them for 1 second while I turn my head gracefully from the camera.
Well, yes, one needs to clear one's sinuses. We don't want to do that necessarily in someone's face because it's not, necessarily polite, apparently.
I'm back.
Apparently. So shall we deal with a couple of things right away? Let's just get right off the hop. I know you have a hard out at what, 8:30?
Yeah, around-ish. I need to look it up again on Google Maps just to be sure, but yeah, around there, maybe a little earlier just to be safe.
Okay, no problem. We'll go. I'm going to start it off with some tragic news. Last night when I was prepping this, Lisa Marie Presley was rushed to the hospital in cardiac arrest, a state of cardiac arrest. And since publishing our descriptor, she has since perished. So sad
Mm.
news. The sole daughter of the late Elvis Presley, she had lost her son to suicide in 2020. She leaves behind three more children, Riley Keough, the actor, being one of them. You may be familiar with her. She's been in a number of things. She was the lead actor in a television series titled The Girlfriend Experience, which I believe is on Prime. It's a good series if you get a chance to watch it. But of course, what happens? A tragic event like this, and guess what happens immediately? Can you guess, Mr. Beaver? Can you guess the first thing that people came out and said about her
Well,
sudden
given that it
cardiac
was
arrest?
massive cardiac arrest, I believe, the word suddenly and died, not in that particular order.
Yeah, I have a tweet here from an individual who I left their name out. Lisa Marie Presley had a well documented history of heart disease in her family. She struggled with addiction for many years, just like her dad did. She also lost her beloved son to suicide 2 years ago. Making her death about a vaccine you don't even know she got is evil. And I agree. The,
I would agree too.
the body wasn't even cold, and they
Oh,
jumped all over that.
well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, they do that because they're so caring, right? They have to be the first one in. They can't wait for the
Fucking
body to get cold,
ghouls.
right?
Fucking ghouls. Ghouls. I
No death they will not exploit.
No, absolutely not. No, no, no tragedy they will not exploit.
Hmm.
Uh, Damar Hamlin. Oh,
Yep.
it's because he got vaccinated. No, it's because he got hit in the chest so hard that it stopped his heart. Just like Chris Pronger on the ice about 20 years ago from a slap shot.
Right.
That was not a vaccine, folks.
Hmm. Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no patience for that garbage. None.
Hmm.
Zero. None.
Oh, I see a couple of new names on the chat. We have Kit Scott and Kit Love Sarika, who says, I'm loving this morning show stuff. I usually tune into breakfast television, but both of your voices are giving me life right now.
Well, we're
We're better
happy
than
you're
breakfast
here.
television.
I
Hey.
like that. I like that.
Yeah, yes.
Morning, morning, guys from snowy Ottawa. Yes, it is snowy, and as you know, a number of the folks from the network are going to be attending the Niagara Ice Wine Festival this weekend. It does go on for a few weeks, but this is the kickoff weekend, and this is the first time they've had it in 3+ years, right?
Hmm.
And because I know you're heading out of town, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just zip on down, take part. I'll, put in an appearance, get to meet with Army Chris and have a beer and go to that pub. And I was thinking, I was doing the logistics, and I'm like, yeah, 6 hour drive, this thing. Yeah, I can make this happen. And then I got the weather forecast, and it was kind of like, yeah, that's not going to happen. We're getting 30 centimeters. There's probably about 15 that's happened overnight. I'm not Look, it's not necessary for me to be there. It's not a life or death situation. I'm not a doctor rushing to get to an emergency surgery or anything like that. So I'm not going to add to the carnage that will be on the roads this weekend. I'm going to stick around my local area and get in some skiing because
Oh,
we have ski hills 15 minutes from where I live. Right, it's a
yes. And you've been waiting
15-minute
for this.
drive. I've been
And you've been
waiting.
waiting for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
For my, for, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say my the ski pass membership that I received as a Christmas present from my parents is about 30 minutes away, but it's a good drive, safe, like good drive, good roads. I've been there many, many times. So we'll see what the situation is like tomorrow morning, and if the roads aren't too bad, I'll go to where my pass is, and if they're really bad, I'll just go to the local hill at Camp Fortune or Camp Fortune, depends on how you like to pronounce it.
I'm on my way to Quebec City, and I have a train ticket, so I will not be on the road. Hopefully, no trees will fall on the tracks and keep us tracked for
No
12
kidding, eh?
hours. Because I
Let's.
think I'm going right into it. Because I think my friend from Quebec City, who I'm going to visit, wrote yesterday saying it's not nice here.
Mm,
So we'll see what I get. Speaking of rest in peace, of course, lately there have been two others. The first one was Fred White, who was the former drummer of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
oh, when did that happen?
Not that long ago, just a couple of days ago on, oh, let's see. Darn, I can't find. You know what? I see it right here. What says about 1 week ago. Hold on, let me click on the article and I can find. Of course, they don't put the date on the article. Why would you put the date on the article?
Well,
Right. But yeah, last week at some point, I'll try and find it again at some point. And Jeff Beck, of course, legendary
yes,
guitarist.
yes. My
People
as I
might know him from playing the guitar solo on his duet "People Get Ready" with Rod Stewart. People are more of my generation might know him that way. But I mean, he was a legend way, 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 way before he did that.
well, and I did make mention the other day in the chat on Dean's show that my good buddy John, who is the host of our Scotch and Cigar Club, his cousin, who he doesn't come from a big family, so he's quite close with his cousins. His cousin Evan, who I've stayed with in London, England, and Evan's sister is Rhonda Smith, who played bass for Jeff Beck for the last, I don't know, 10 or 12 years. And prior to that, she was a member of Prince's New Power Generation. You know the song Get Off from that album, Prince
Oh
and the New
yeah,
Power Generation? Yeah, that's
one,
her on
two,
the
three
bass.
positions in a one night stand.
That's her on
Yeah,
the bass. Yeah,
yeah.
she's one of the most revered bass players on in the industry today. So she's a little broken up because she was very close with Jeff and toured with
Mm,
him. Well, as recently as this summer, they did a tour this past summer. So bacterial meningitis, and if you get that, good night. It's very quick.
yeah,
I mean, it's a horrible suffering death. It really is, but it's not prolonged. It's, if you get bacterial meningitis and if you're not like in an ER immediately, chances are you're not going to make it.
yeah, yeah. And if I just shared with you an article from Variety on the passing of Jeff Beck, but like everybody's being quoted in this, right? There's Patti Smith and Gary Kemp, who was with Spandau Ballet, and Gene Simmons and Rod Stewart and uh, Tommy Yomi and Eric Clapton, Jimmy
Yeah, they're
Page.
all there.
They're
Yeah, it's the
everyone's
who's
there,
who of rock and roll for the last 50 years.
right?
Basically
So
broken up over this.
yeah, and I mean, he was, like I did not personally, I did not know his name before
Oh
People
no,
Get Ready came
I've
out
known him
because
for decades.
yeah, but because it was like the Jeff Beck group, and then before I think he was doing stuff with the Yardbirds. But sometimes instrumentalists you don't know their names, and then you know People Get Ready came out, and I'm thinking, oh well, who's this Jeff Beck guy, right? Because he's really good. He's just really, really, really good. And while he's not shredding on People Get Ready, uh, the how would I put it? The discipline,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
restraint on that one,
Oh yes. Yeah,
that's not easy to do actually. So yeah,
it's very difficult to do.
yeah, and Fred White was January 3rd. So yeah,
Okay.
a drummer for
So
Earth, Wind, and Fire. I might know their songs, September and oh, that, Boogie Wonderland.
I
Yeah, that's when I was
I
thinking. Try Boogie Wonderland. I was
Boogie
stuck on
Wonderland.
it.
So I
Yes.
wanted to give you some strange numbers here. So Lisa Marie Presley's death on January 12th, 2023, 4 days after the anniversary of her father's birth, January 8th, 1935. Weird, eh?
Hmm.
She was only a few weeks shy of her 55th birthday because she's a few months older than me. Her birthday was February 1st, 1968. So yeah, she was just a few weeks shy of her 55th birthday. And look, I'm going to be Gen X, man. We age pretty well because she did
Yep.
not. I mean, damn, right?
Right.
Lisa Marie Presley, Shania Twain, like women that had, look, yes, grew up with money, but she had a very difficult life.
Yes.
Shania Twain, we all know about the difficult life she had, and yet look at her. My
Right.
goodness gracious, right?
Right.
I have a quick clip here for those of you who are unaware of the work of Jeff Beck. I'm just going to play a couple of seconds of his guitar solo from the 1984 Rod Stewart hit "Infatuation." I'm sure you remember this song. For those of you who don't,
Yes.
this is a particularly outstanding guitar solo. I'm just going to play the solo and then we're out because we might get a copyright violation, but I've always loved this solo. And this is Jeff Beck, for those of you who were not fully aware of who the man was.
Oh no, not again.
Infatuation. That's a kick-ass song, by the way,
It
for those of
really
you who are
is.
unfamiliar with it.
Yeah, and it was a
Hey, morning,
it was a
James.
hit, but it's a criminal that it wasn't a bigger hit than it was, because that was
Yeah, agreed,
a kick
agreed,
ass song.
agreed. Yeah, infatuation.
Mm,
Well, it had a driving
infatuation.
beat with a killer
Oh
guitar
yeah,
solo, and of course, yeah, pretty
and
awesome.
then and then the Scotch vocals of Rod Stewart.
The Scotsman.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm thinking Scotch like a Scotch on the rocks, that gravel
Oh
he's got,
well,
right?
yeah, but he's isn't he from Glasgow? I believe I think he's a Glaswegian lad.
Well, Scotland for sure. I know. I'm not
He's
exactly
Scottish.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, Stuart, put in the Googler
Uh,
and see what it says. You're a member of the Faces. Yeah, I know that. British rock and pop. Okay, come on. Where was he born? Doodly-doo, doodly-doo. I can't find it. Highgate, London, England. Oh, he was born in London, but he grew up he identifies as Scottish
mhm.
because he grew up in Scotland, much like Phil Lynott, former lead singer and bass player for Thin Lizzy.
Mhm.
Although he was born in London, he identified as Irish because he grew up in Ireland and he
Mm.
was an Irish citizen. You know, Rod Stewart was a Scottish citizen. So anyway, I'm getting into
Yep.
semantics right now, and let's get off that topic before we go down that rabbit hole. And James, I can help out with that tonight. Um, Douglas, you'll be otherwise engaged this evening, I assume. Eh?
Yeah, I'll try to pop in if I can, but it might be more difficult, especially, when you just arrive. It's like,
Yeah, in
"Hi,
Quebec
let
City.
me,
Yeah.
like, lay down my bags, and I'll be with you in 5 hours."
Yeah, I suppose that. So, I will, yeah, I can help you out with that, brother. Yeah,
But
and
yes,
apologies last night, I wasn't able to join in on the mental health chat. We were recording, so, yeah, next time.
yes, indeed, yes, for, the kids who are listening. We recorded a flagship last night that will come out at some time on the weekend, that will be available exclusively on audio, so please look for it so that you can download it. And, yes, James, I will try and make an appearance tonight for, for a little bit. So, I listened to last week's show, and, yeah, I've got a couple of things to mention.
Sorry, John, I'm not gonna shovel your driveway, brother. I love you to death, you know that, but, no, no, no. I
Yeah,
have too many injuries.
we like to help, but maybe not that much.
We will always lend a hand, unless, of course, it involves shoveling snow, in which case, get the kid with the snowblower down the street. But good luck.
Contribute to someone's university fund or or trade school fund or whatever.
Just don't
Um,
just don't go out and do it yourself, John, because let's face it, we're getting older, and the opportunity to have a heart attack as a result is always there. So, if you're going to shovel, take it easy, take your time. We want you to stick with us because you're a good guy, and I love you to death.
yeah, yeah. All right. Mr. Grizzly, sometimes you have a couple of things to start off the day.
Yes, yes, I do. I'm going to pop in with this tweet I saw the other day, and I titled this tweet "Asshole." The name is hidden, but this person says, "No, I will not stay home when I'm sick." In parentheses, no quotation marks. Sorry. The world does not belong to the asymptomatic. People with runny noses do not need to isolate themselves. People with coughs are not bioweapons. Do not comply. What a raging, gaping asshole.
Yeah, see, tweets like that, I just
Selfish prick.
tweets like that, I just let go by because to me, that
Oh,
just
I didn't
screams
respond.
hate.
And it was,
That
and
screams
by the
hate.
way, it was our friend Aaron Hoyland who did that. He posted that, but what he did was he did a screen cap.
Yeah,
So he's not giving them any air, any space, right?
yeah.
Um, and another one from Aaron Hoyland about the gas stove debate going on right now. And
Yeah.
this nails it. Check this out. This absolutely nails it. All this gas stove talk has me convinced that if we learned about the dangers of asbestos in 2023, right-wing media would spend a week claiming that woke scientists are trying to cancel our freedom fibers, and Fox News would have someone lick insulation on TV to prove, in quotation marks, it's safe. You know, the thing is, I think he's hit it out of the park with that one because you know damn well that's what would take place.
And then when Fox TV would get sued by the person who licked it,
Yeah, yeah.
why did you
Well,
lick it?
and so
Nobody believes that we're a serious news station.
nobody can take us
I
seriously.
knew all along that this would have been caused you trouble. Like Sean Hannity. I never thought for 1 second that the election was rigged, but yeah, sure said it for months and months and months to rake in the cash, did you, buddy?
That gets Sean this.
Go F yourself. 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 Go F yourself.
Asswipe. Two other quick things, sir. Well,
Yes.
I've got something else, but we'll talk about it later. But two other quick things. I saw this the other day and went, oh, I'm going to do my best to keep my stomach in check and not vomit all over my screen. Fire and Ice, the Theo and Jamie show featuring Eva Chipiuk.
Mm.
Who is Eva Chipiuk? I know we
She's
all know who.
Yeah, she's the one that came to bat cleanup for Brendan Miller when it came time
Yes.
to cross-examine the Prime Minister of the public emergency and asked, when did you become afraid of your people?
And acted like she did something at the end of it. I'm like, you're a terrible lawyer. You're a terrible lawyer. Probably not a very good person either. So that, and then this final thing, but we'll discuss this in detail. I don't know if this is about Mustafa. You know who Mustafa is? Right? I think
who left Brienne at the altar in Cuba.
That's correct. I was just about to left Brienne at the altar. So I have the whole document here, the Globe and Mail article about prove it, basically, saying, I don't believe you. I don't think anybody does, because how the hell is that even possible? Like, so ridiculous. Because then I saw a document last night saying Passport Canada produced 74,000 passports in the last 10 days. In 10 days. So please tell me why Mustafa had to fly here from Calgary to come to Ottawa to try and get a passport to go to Cuba, where his supposed wife, Brienne.
And 20 of his closest friends.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, 20 of his closest. That's right.
Yeah. He sent everybody there, but he didn't have his passport yet or his ticket. And nowhere along the process he thought, hey, people, maybe don't go.
Maybe don't
You just
go.
let them go?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who does that? You sent me this thing, Karina Gould, who's, I can't remember off the top of my head what she's the minister of, I think it's families. Oh darn! I love her too because she doesn't get enough airtime. And she's really really good. The minister, she was minister of international development and democratic institutions, but she's not that anymore. Minister of Families, Children, and Social Development. That makes more sense.
Okay.
You had sent me this. She tweeted this. Last week, Service Canada issued 71,210 passports.
There we go.
We have exceeded the service standard. 99% of new applications made at a passport office were delivered within 10 business days. 94% of new applications through mail or Service Canada were delivered within 20 business days. If you or someone you know has been waiting beyond service times and have upcoming travel, please contact Service Canada and request a transfer of your application so that you can get your travel documents in time. Over the past year, Service Canada employees have been working around the clock to deliver passports to Canadians. We have introduced new measures to meet the increased demands for passport services. We have expanded passport services across the country so Canadians can get their passports closer to home. We will continue to adapt to challenges as we work hard to deliver efficient services to all Canadians.
There you go. I was off,
There you
not
go.
74,000, 71,000. I have one final thing before we kick this off. You're going to like this. I saw this earlier, and I'm like, oh, I gotta put this asset in for the show. This is a political cartoon, which really hits the nail on the head. For those of you who are listening to the audio portion, it is a Trojan horse approaching Queen's Park with Doug Ford sitting inside of it with a sign that says privatize healthcare. You know, it's so apt, it's ridiculous. Like, oh, Dougie.
Indeed, that is true. So you're a thing about Brienne and Mustafa.
Yes, Mustafa.
It made me think of something because, well, before there was Brienne and before there was Mustafa, with the Conservatives, there was that fake citizenship ceremony that they broadcast on Sun Network. Remember, they
On
had to stage a
Sun TV.
citizenship ceremony, and then there was this particular thing. Oh my! Well, that's a whole different thing. There we go.
Okay, I'll take your word for
No,
it.
I wanted to share something. There was a whole because I've added channels. There was a whole new
Right.
screen that appeared that I was not familiar with.
Of
But there
course.
was this right here, Mr. Grizzly. Remember
Here we are.
this guy here? Conservative
Yeah.
MP retracts stolen voter card story.
Yes.
Conservative MP Brad Butt, who in 2014 made an assertion that he saw voter information cards being taken from the garbage and recycling bins and given to supporters to be used by people without identification. He stood up in the
Didn't
House and yes, he made that claim when they were talking about
did it.
back when they were trying to pretend that election fraud was happening here and that we needed all these voter ID type things. He said, yes, I've seen people actually, go in and take people's voters' ID cards and then go to the stations and vote or give them to people who went to there and then voted like more than once. And then, of course, he admitted that it didn't happen. He actually described seeing the voter information cards wrongly used. And then he said, I misspoke.
No,
What did
you
you
lied.
misspeak? You lied.
You lied. I misspoke when I lied about doing something that never occurred. That's not no. A misspoke is when you mispronounce a word or mix up a sentence or get a simple fact off. Not necessarily wrong, but off. Like I just misspoke a few minutes ago. I said 74,000 passports. You gently corrected me with the fact that I actually had sent to you 71,000. I misspoke. That's misspeaking.
Mm-hmm.
Making up a complete fallacy, that's called lying.
Yes. Mr. Butt misspoke the same way that George Santos misspoke when he said that his Jewish Ukrainian parents fled Stalin to then go to Belgium to then flee the Nazis when they were born in Brazil.
Yeah. Pull out your left leg and it plays Jingle Bells. This is from James D. Forey. I'm one of 3 people in the modern era to be convicted of a voter fraud offense. I can tell you it barely ever happens, and that's because James talked about this in the past. How he was when he was writing for the Huffington Post, he went out and he voted at what was it, 2 or 3.
He's the guy who did that.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I did
James.
not know
Yeah.
that. I was familiar with that story. Okay, yeah.
And he got charged for that, of course, right? Now Magazine,
Right.
sorry, Now Magazine, not Huffington Post. My apologies. Thanks, James. Was it 3?
Mm-hmm.
3 different polling stations or just 2? I don't recall.
I thought it was
but
2.
It might have been 2. He'll let us know. 3. It was 3. There you go.
It was 3. Oh. Hmm. And it
Yeah,
was like,
it's extremely rare for that to happen.
hmm, hmm, yep. And you got
People
caught.
inventing this thing. Yeah, exactly. Because their system works.
Well, I don't
Their
know.
system
I don't know if
works.
he got. I don't know, but James? Did you get caught while you were doing it, or did you get caught after writing about it? And then,
Yeah. Well, he did it
yes,
for
I
a
know you did it for a
story.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that part I was familiar with because it's not like you decided, hey, let me woke up one day, let me try and violate election law because I actually want to influence the election.
Yeah, no kidding. So
Okay.
I've got this
There you go.
this it, the bleh. I'm, I'm stumbling and bumbling over my words right now. Okay, then. So the lawyers gave him the green light before he did it. So it wasn't, it was like you outlined the story and then you went to the lawyers, and yeah, it makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. You wouldn't just do that on your own volition. I like
Yep. Yep.
this.
I'm sure that helped
James
in the defense.
James lived the motto: vote now, vote off. Uh, I
Oh
have
man,
another thing here. I
sure thing.
just I put this tweet up very quickly. The owner of Foster Gwynn Gallery displays a lack of emotion as he sprays a
Yes,
desperately poor person with freezing cold water in San Francisco. I'm not going to play the video
I saw that.
because it's difficult to watch. Most people are one bad month away from homelessness, and before long, it's near impossible to escape. Now he's going on whining about, well, I just, oh, shut up, man.
Yep, yep. Now,
You
if you
were
watch,
inhuman. You were
yep,
inhuman.
if you watch the video or if you see a still of that, look at the position of his legs and his feet while he's
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh yeah.
He's actually got
Well,
them in a number 4 position,
yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
Here,
This was one
I'll give a
like just
screenshot.
casually, it's like I do
Here's a
this every day
screenshot.
type of thing.
This is the screenshot. I'm not going to play the video because it's terrible, but here's the screenshot. Look at
Look
his
at his
body
feet.
position, leaning against the fence, just chill as all can be, hosing
Like
down a
he was
homeless
at a
woman.
bar or
Yeah.
right?
Take the
Take
hose out
the
of his
hose out of
hand.
his hand. Looks like he's cruising at a bar.
Or having a cigarette or something, like the complete callous disregard for that woman who, and he's going, well, she probably suffered a horrible reason to be on the street, because I'm going to guess that most people don't just choose to be there. There is a small percentage of the population that does choose to not live within society's confines. And we know what, those confines are, but some people are on the street by choice. I think it's less than 0.8%. It's less than 1%. I know that. Most people are not there by choice,
Mhm, mhm.
right?
Oh, we have some very special company. Good morning, Nona. Lovely to see you. Good morning, Kit Tim, but Kit Pete, Australian
Our
Pete.
our Australian artists. G'day,
Hey,
mate. How you
mate.
doing? How you
How you
going?
doing, buddy? So lovely of you to join us. Oh my God, what a treat! What a treat! Hello, Pete. Nice to see you.
You're
Speaking
welcome, love,
about
Sarika.
yes, what? Oh yes, for not
There, I
playing the
just
video.
put.
Yes,
Yeah, not playing the video. I didn't. I
yes.
don't want to show the video. I've seen it. It's like, no, that's horrible. I'm not going to share that. I showed the still to show his body position, his complete callous disregard for that woman, human being.
Yep,
That's what
that's
it was.
depraved indifference right there. But
Absolutely.
as you mentioned when you were talking about homeless people, there's recently in the news statistics from Alberta Health Services obtained through a Freedom of Information request showed that there were 91 frostbite amputations in Edmonton last winter, which is a
Wow.
225% increase over the previous year and more than the past 3 years combined. And Calgary saw similar increases. It's estimated that there are about 3,000 homeless people in Edmonton at the moment. Dr. Sandy Dong from the University of Alberta Hospital Emergency, he was an emergency physician there, stated, I think it was one person out of those scores that I treated that had a permanent address. So I think you can draw a straight line between our housing crisis and these outcomes.
So you're familiar with our good buddy Locke yesterday, how he talked about, I don't know if you saw the clip on yesterday, was going on about how he got frostbite on his penis.
Nope. and I'm not sure where this is going given our political show.
Well, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Okay.
I'm going to show you this screen here in a second. Um, I said, Locke, you got very cold. If you had frostbite, you would know because frostbite it kills the nerve endings, it necrotizes the flesh, and it falls off. It turns black and falls off. And here's just I'm not showing an actual image. This is just a graphic of what takes place. So I just want to gently correct Lachlan and saying you did not get frostbite on your penis, buddy, because you would be missing, about an inch or two of it.
Just
You just the tip. You got some very cold weather and experienced a lot of pain because it got very, very cold, but it was not frostbite.
hmm And to go along with the homelessness story, the annual report from Second Harvest, came out recently, and they surveyed 1,300 food banks across the country, and they're noticing an extremely sharp rise. Pre-pandemic, it was about 2 million people a year that were using a food bank. Last year, it was 5 million, and they're predicting it would be 8 million this year. Jody Williams, who runs Bridges to Hope in St. John's, Newfoundland, says they're $50,000 in debt because of the cost of food rising.
Yikes.
And he said last year we saw a huge increase in people using the food bank for the first time. So, of course, that's concerning. We used to see maybe like 1 to 4 new people per month. Now we can see up to 60 new people a month.
That's disturbing. And here, this is from the Mayo Clinic. So that I didn't pull this out of thin air. From the Mayo Clinic, what happens when you get frostbite? The skin turns white or blue-gray, and you lose all sensation of cold, pain, or discomfort in the area. Joints or muscles may stop working. Large blisters form 24 to 48 hours after rewarming. The tissue turns black and hard as it dies. It's pretty terrible. If you get frostbite, you lose body parts. It's that simple. It's that simple. So I did that so that people will understand when you're talking about that number of individuals in the city of Edmonton suffering from frostbite. You need to understand how terrible frostbite really is.
Yeah. Indeed. Yes, good. There's somebody else new. Good morning, Kid Jillian. Lovely to see you again this morning, too. Also, in sort of the sad news, there have been 2 deaths in Nova Scotia of people that were needing hospital services. The most recent is a 67-year-old woman who had gone to the emergency department and with jaw pain and flu symptoms in Cape Breton, and she waited 7 hours for service, didn't get any. Went to the nurse on duty and asked how long it would be, and they said she'd probably have to wait till the morning. So she went home, thinking that she'd go to a walk-in clinic the next morning and make it faster for herself,
Mm-hmm.
and died before she could.
Tragic. Oops.
Yeah.
I bumped.
And then there was
one of the
another
monitors.
patient in Nova Scotia as well, who was waiting in the emergency room as well. And apparently she was on the floor of the emergency room.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I'm talking about someone who died, so I figured I would let that go.
Sorry. Please, my apologies. Callous disregard on my part. I need a coffee. My brain is not fully functioning right now. My apologies.
Yeah.
Please restart what you were talking about, sir. I apologize. That was rude of me. Rude and inappropriate, and I make those mistakes sometimes. Bad timing. You're right. My bad. My bad. My brain wanders, right?
Yeah.
Squirrel.
She was waiting in the emergency room, and she thought she was dying. She even said, I'm going to die here, while she was waiting. And she was on the floor in pain. And they finally got to her, obviously, and they tried to resuscitate her, I think, 3 different times, but that didn't work either.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, and should not have happened.
Yeah.
People need to answer for that, And it goes back to, I harp on
Yeah.
about this all the time about how, Doug Ford is trying to privatize healthcare, and I got people tell me, no, that's not true. And I'm like, well, he's breaking our public system by cutting funding by $1 billion, refuses to give nurses a raise, brings in a bill to try and prevent them from getting money, and then all of a sudden appears at a privately owned pharmacy. Well, all pharmacies are privately owned, but in a lobby place. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say the word because I don't want to get sued by Galen. And I know more than one Galen, but there's one particular Galen we can think of in this instance. So, yeah, what is he? He's breaking the public system so he can bring in a private system and say, look, see, this is a good stopgap measure. No, Doug, it's not a good stopback measure. A backstop measure? Stop? You know what I mean.
Backstop. Yeah.
Backstop measure. It's not a good backstop measure. You broke the public system. You did it intentionally so that you could hand off your our public health care to private interests that will profit off of it. They've been building these pay-to-use clinics in large grocery stores for the last decade, and now you can subscribe to them for $30 a month. You can see a doctor anytime you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And on Bill 124, at the end of November, at least, the Ontario government announced that it intended to appeal a court's decision that struck down a controversial bill that limited wages for the public sector workers, because that was the point. A spokesperson for the Attorney General had told CP24 that we are reviewing the decision and our intention is to appeal. Why? 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 Well, I mean, we know why. You're a bunch of dicks, but who love to punch down on nurses and teachers in particular because they're female-dominated professions, and you're a bunch of misogynists. But it's
He's
Justice
a
Marcus
terrible person
Conan.
who does terrible things.
Yes, Doctor Justice Marcus Conan delivered an 80-page decision recently, stating that the Charter protects not just the right to associate, but also the right to a meaningful process in which unions can put on the table those issues that are of concern to workers and have them discussed in good faith. So several unions and workers have been trying to fight the legislation that came into effect in 2019 and capped wage increases to 1% a year for 3 years. So that's
Damn.
what the Premier of Ontario thinks, that nurses
1%.
work. Yeah, well, all those, not only nurses, but all those affected by Bill 124. So the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario CEO Doris Grinspun urged Doug Ford not to appeal. Please do not appeal, Premier, to the court's decision. You know the situation in Ontario, and with the shortage of workers everywhere, and in particular in the healthcare field, and more so even in nursing. Please do not appeal the bill. Interim leader of the Liberal Party of Ontario, John Fraser, said the same thing. The government shouldn't appeal this ruling. It should just sit down with all the workers affected and come to a fair deal. And in response to the decision, Unifor, Canada's largest private sector union, tweeted that it will be seeking remedies for affected members. There were rallies held outside hospitals to try and convince the Ford government not to appeal. And then on January 11th, just mere days ago,
Yes, 2 days
Premier
ago.
Doug
Yeah.
Ford, basically spent a lot of time on Wednesday in front of the media arguing that Bill 124 doesn't exist. Quote, let me
But
be clear to the folks out there. You can hear whatever it is. Bill 124 is lapsed. Well, if
friends,
it's lapsed, then why are you trying to appeal the decision, Doug?
friends, folks, folks of friends of folks.
If
It
it's
doesn't exist.
lapsed, it's like 1 month ago, you were out there with the paddles about to go clear, boom, boom, to try and bring it back to life. And now you're saying, hey, it's lapsed. Hey. I'm feeling like that Saddam in South Park. Hey, don't
Hmm.
worry, the bill is lapsed. What you worrying about? Smile, be happy. Satan, Satan. Just
Yeah, yeah. Come on, Satan, let's. I'm not going to complete that sentence. But if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
yes. I wish you loved me for my mind.
I got to give it to Trey Parker and Matt Stone. That was wow. But I laughed. I laughed uncontrollably because it was funny, and I have a sense of humor. But yeah, some people got a little bit sensitive about that, and I can understand why. You know, but it's like, wait a minute. Who got most bent out of shape about that?
Mm-hmm.
Evangelical Christians. I'm like,
Yep.
but your on earth devil, Saddam Hussein, is pictured in bed with Satan in hell. And you're
Literally.
upset, literally in bed, and you're upset about that because they were having sex. Isn't that your wet dream? Like, come on, man. I just don't get humanity some days. I really
Oh,
don't.
man. So, yeah, basically 2 weeks before he said it lapsed, he was in court trying to file an appeal.
Wow.
The government's line was the court erred in holding that the financial impact of the act's limits on the compensation increases substantially interferes with the respondents' rights to meaningful process of collective bargaining. They also argued the judge mischaracterized the reason why Bill 124 was put in place to begin with, which they say was to manage the province's finances. And the premier reiterated that argument, saying, quote, I have, hold on, let me try that. Friends, I always have to be a prudent fiscal manager with the taxpayers' money. We just can't be out there spending willy-nilly as people are working their backs off. They are taxed to the brink right now. They can't just keep dishing it out, so we have to take everything into consideration. And notice he only cares about being a prudent fiscal manager when it comes to paying nurses and teachers.
Funny how that works out, eh?
Because he blew an entire $13 billion surplus on a plan to build a highway nobody wants, paving over farmland. He had all that cash at his disposal, and he said, yeah, let's build a highway. Let's not put it into healthcare. Let's not give people a UBI. Let's not make sure kids have proper ventilation in their classes. Let's build a highway.
Remember, we had a UBI pilot program that what did
Yeah.
Doug do? He
Oh, he
canceled it,
promised he wouldn't,
and he did.
but he did.
And let's not forget he's all in on electric cars right now, right?
Until he's not.
Well, do you remember what he did when he first got in?
Mm-hmm.
He not only did he cancel the expansion of the provincial government's expanding charging stations across the province, he ripped them out.
Yep. He
He
ripped out the ones.
literally says, "Get rid of that. We don't want that."
All
And
this
now,
money that you guys just spent,
yeah,
I'm going to
we're going
make
to
sure you
piss it
spent
away.
it for nothing. But he's a prudent fiscal manager. Mm. Tell me another one, Felicia. Tell me another one. So yeah. Uh, I don't know, man, with this guy. And we still got over 3 years of him to go.
Don't remind me.
Oh,
Don't remind me.
God.
It's enough to make a grown man cry. The only other time I cry is when somebody drops a bottle of Crown Royal. No, that's not true. I cry at a lot of stuff all the time, but I got to have a sense of humor about it, right?
Yep. This guy, I tell you, he's a real piece of work. Um, just, just a lot. I mean, the thing is that it's getting to the point now. It's just how easily and casually they lie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, like they had him at I had this clip from CTV that I posted, where they had him asking him about oh darn, what was it about? Yeah, whether or not people had been tipped off, right, for the greenbelt thing. And he's basically looking at them, and he, like, the journalist says, I'm going to ask you about this. And you see his eyes are wide open. Here, I've got the clip right here. It's gonna,
Pull it up.
this is, yep, hold on. It keeps on doing that thing for me. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be a new thing. It's always going to make me share another window first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. Let me blow that up. Okay,
Hit the play,
get
and we're
some
good to go.
volume there. Okay, now watch. Okay, now you see the still, right? You see his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
normal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and watch when he asks the question, how big his eyes get. Okay,
Let's go. Roll the clip.
last 2 years I want to ask you about.
Sure.
One was a $50 million purchase in spring 2021.
Mhm.
The other was an $80 million buy a few weeks before you announced the Greenbelt plan.
Sure.
Both of these buyers have strong links to the PCs, including donations and hiring lobbyists who worked closely with folks in and around your government. And I'm wondering why you think these folks would have paid so much money for land that was, essentially worthless a few months ago.
Okay. So his eyes wide open, right? Is it okay? This is what you're saying? This is what, okay, I'm paying really close attention to know exactly what it is that I'm supposed to lie about. Now, the question was, why do you think these people would have spent money on land that was essentially worthless? The question is barely out of the journalist's mouth, and his mouth is already open to answer, so he's not taking any time to reflect on this.
Nope.
Okay? Now, listen to the answer.
Well, we had strict criteria when it came to changing over anything. But what we're focused on, first of all, we added over 2,000 acres to the Greenbelt. Since I've took office, the Greenbelt is larger than it was prior. And I just want to remind everyone that the previous government, under the Liberal regime, they changed it 17 times. We have a housing crisis. That land is going to build at minimum 50,000 homes.
We had criteria. Liberals did something. We have housing all in 28 seconds. Zig from that to that to that, all in 28 seconds.
I can
and
smell
no
the
direct
bullshit.
answer as to why.
I can smell the bullshit through my screen. It's like, come on, man.
He does that, oh, gee, shucks, folks thing. And he just skates away. That is not an answer. That is not an answer. It's it's the sheer, outright shamelessness. And just casual lying. Oh, we had criteria, and the Liberals changed it 17 times, and and we're trying to help the people. It's like, right. It's like that typewriter and stuff. Doody 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 doo. B.
That's
Bullshit.
exactly where I'm going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just, man. Just that he's gotten really good with that little red plastic shovel.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be out digging out people today.
All the live long day. Just wow.
Yep.
Wow. I cannot stand that man. If he would be the person I despise most, if like Pepe von Peach Schnapps wasn't holding his beer keg all the time. Oh man, I tell you, this guy he exhausts me. It's just and the worst part is that because he's always at the cottage on his phone 24/7 with his heart bleeding because he's not hesitating to feel your pain. He looks like he's doing nothing, but he's really, really busy. They're changing lots of laws underhandedly, secretly, quietly, changing regulations. And they're very, very busy. Every single freaking liver they can find, they're clicking on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the other day he was, I think he outright came out and said, this is why we need these types of private services. Like he's like Daniel Smith out in Alberta, right? They're just outright saying it, right? When she went and did her state of the confusion to the province of Alberta, it's like, we're gonna let you save money into like little bank accounts so that you can pay for your own health services and that people can help you by donating to you to pay for your health services. Isn't that wonderful?
No, it's not.
It's
not wonderful.
No,
it's not.
No, it's not. It's not wonderful at all. God, man. Yeah. Oh, Kit Pete says Pepe Von Who, Pepe Von Peach Snaps, Pepe Von Snipes, uh, Pepperidge Schmarms, Pee Wee
Yeah.
Vermin. We've got lots of names for this guy.
And all of them are real and true and honest and yeah.
Captain Short Pants, Peter Poppin Fresh. Oh,
Yeah. Peter Poppin'
mm,
Jay. Yeah.
yeah. Peter
Peter,
Poindexter.
Pumpkin Head. What's that song?
Oh, man.
Tarzan was never a ladies' man.
In other unfortunate news, the Saint-Anne-des-Monts Hospital in the Gaspésie region has closed its operation block for an indeterminate period and will also close its obstetrics unit after many breaks in service in December. Due to a shortage of nursing staff in the operation block, they are working with the Bas-Saint-Laurent region to create a service corridor with the hospital in Matane. The emergency department at the Saskatoon Children's Hospital, Jim Pattinson's Children's Hospital, is at 200% capacity. And the Saskatchewan Union of Nurses President Tracy Zambori says that children have to wait hours to be seen, staff is exhausted, and the hospital may soon run short of supplies.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. That is definitely not good at all.
That's
I
not
don't know what
it.
Yeah. They really have to do something, man, because this. I mean, people are dying, literally,
Yes.
in the ERs, and or going home or choosing to try and find alternative services, and it's just, man. Um, uh, Getting to slightly happier stuff. When we're talking about first National Ribbon Skirt Day, just so you know, it was inspired by 10-year-old Isabella Kulak, who wore her ribbon skirt to school one day because they said we were going to have a formal day. So, bring your formal best. And a staff member told her it wasn't formal enough.
How?
Yeah, wasn't formal enough. That's the same thing as that little kid in Quebec, I think was a Vietnamese child, who had brought his lunch to school, and the teacher admonished him for bringing, I guess,
Yes.
food that wasn't North American enough, I guess, or something. But it basically started an online movement of Indigenous women sharing photos of themselves in the colorful skirts. And then as a result, the National Ribbon Skirt Day came along. So a little background on that. And in a story that, when I read it, made me get a couple of shades paler, because it reminded me very much of a story that we heard recently in the United States. And I'm going to read you a little bit what happened, and I'm sure that you'll be able to tell me who I'm thinking about in the United States. But an Alberta man shot and killed two Métis hunters, Maurice Cardinal and Jacob Sampson, and he will receive a life sentence with no chance of parole for 13 years. The murderer's father was sentenced last year to 10 years for his own manslaughter. So, a father and son, right? Both were found guilty last May in a series of events really similar to those leading to the February 2020 death of this person. I'm
Colton
wondering
Boushie.
you will think about, no, in the United States. Now, according to the CBC, the trial heard that on March 27, 2020, when the father saw truck lights in his yard on a rural property outside the village of Glendon in northern Alberta, he and his 16-year-old son jumped into his truck to give chase. He told court he thought the occupants of the trucks could be thieves. The father called his adult son during the pursuit and told him to bring a gun.
Okay,
Seconds after
yes,
he arrived
yes.
on the scene, the son shot Sampson in the chest. Then he shot Cardinal 3 times in the back. Someone taking a jog down a country road, stopping at a construction site, thought to be a thief. Dad calls his son and the neighbor. One films it. The guy's running.
Yeah, we've heard this story before, right?
This wasn't a murder, it was a lynching.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
I was reading that and I'm going, oh my God, it's Ahmaud Arbery all over again.
Mm-hmm. Mem shows copycat crime. It happens, people. It happens
That's just,
all too often.
wow. The family that prays together.
Murders together?
Preys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not Pray for sure. Although they've been known to do that too. So.
Indeed. So yeah, that one was particularly horrifying and hair-raising. Thank you very much. Let's see, what else? Do you have something, Mr. Grizzly, while I'm looking for something else in my notes here?
Yeah, I do. And this is from Rapey McForehead.
Oh, yay.
Which completely falls in line with what our friend Aaron Hoyland tweeted earlier. Matt Gates, Rapey McForehead. You'll pry it from my cold, dead hands. And he actually has a video of his gas stove with the burner on.
Number one, you stole that line from Charlton Heston. 2, please put your hands on the stove.
Please do it.
Please
do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
You can see the blisters I got from recently burning my hand, right? So.
Man. Jeez. Seriously. In some news about the environment that'll probably make your hair curl because, since we're keeping up with totally cheery topics today, U.S. federal climate scientists say that climate extremes cost $165+ billion in damages alone last year. And experts in the United States say that the Great Salt Lake in Utah will disappear in just 5 years if legislators do not intervene immediately with emergency action. The lake is 19 feet below its usual average. Water is down 73%, and about 60% of the lake bed is exposed. The lake needs more than 300 billion gallons of extra water per year to reverse the decline. Now, this year, there's an abnormal snowpack already, which could help with that. The lake is basically going dry because of drought and overuse of water, and the governor of the state is being asked to declare a state of emergency. Scientists say that ranchers, greenskeepers, and homeowners would have to reduce their use by 50% over the next 5 years to prevent the ecosystem from crashing. And what are the odds that you think that is going to happen? Right? Because, right? Asbestos, like you mentioned at the previous show. Well, why do I need to give up my water? Somebody else should. Right. The last 8 years were the hottest on record. And when we're talking about, remember when we talked a few weeks ago about the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres saying that we were basically on the highway to hell? And at the last COP summit on the environment, they mentioned that we're pretty much going to blow past 1.5 degrees Celsius. 2002 reached 1.2 degrees above the pre-industrial era, and the last 3 years were in a colder La Nina cycle. So the weather would have been warmer otherwise. Now we're entering a warmer El Nino cycle. So absolutely, we will hit 1.5 degrees this century. Worryingly, we'll probably hit it in the next decade, said Sandra Burgess of the Copernicus Climate Service. Copernicus, sorry. Yes,
okay.
I'm thinking in French.
Copernic. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Copernicus. I have a thing I'm going to put up here in a second. It's wild. Like sometimes we're on such the same wavelength that it blows my mind. Because I had earlier this morning while I was loading assets in, I came across this and I thought, well, maybe we'll be able to bring this into the show today. And lo and behold, here we are. I'm going to pull up that and then let's have a look at this. This is about it's a science article, a carbon capture breakthrough. The world's climate goals are banking on the success of carbon capture technology, and one startup just achieved a breakthrough. What happened? Climeworks has reportedly pulled carbon dioxide from the air and stored it underground using a verified third-party process, an industry
Okay.
first, to deploy direct air capture, DAC, technology, per the Wall Street Journal. Many of us have likely heard about carbon capture and storage, CCS, a technology energy companies are relying on to decarbonize the industry. Unlike CCS, which captures emissions from a point source like a smokestack at an energy plant, direct air capture can capture carbon from anywhere. Companies like Microsoft, Shopify, and Stripe have agreed to pay large sums for carbon credits, each representing 1 metric ton, generated by Climeworks to offset their emissions so they can claim they're becoming carbon neutral. Why it matters. Removing carbon from the atmosphere is critical to limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It is now at 1 degree Celsius. According to a recent UN report, at the current level of emissions, the Earth has an estimated runway of 10 years before hitting 1.5. We're already at 1. We only need to raise it by half a degree, and life on this planet will be irrevocably harmed beyond repair. The bottom line, while companies like Climeworks hope for a future where carbon removal is paid for, like trash collection, the technology still has a ways to go before making meaningful contributions to reducing emissions at scale. It is, however, very good news. This could at least halt the temperature advancement, the rising temperature. It could halt it. Will it be able to reverse what we've done? I don't know. It's tough to say, but it's very promising. Very, very promising. And
Good.
hey, hope can carry you a long way sometimes.
Yeah. And then comes the challenge to bring it to scale and to make sure it's well distributed so that it could be used everywhere. Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, also said, speaking at a conference in Geneva while he was seeking to raise $16 billion for Pakistan following the devastating floods in which 1,700 people died and thousands were forced from their homes. They've raised $9.3 billion so far, so pretty good, but not enough. Today it is Pakistan, tomorrow it could be in your country, and I am deeply frustrated that global leaders are not giving this life or death emergency the action and the investment it requires, because words are not enough. Without action, catastrophe is coming for us all. Climate catastrophe is coming for us all. Now, some better news is that a report from the UN says that the ozone layer is on track to return to 1980 levels across much of the globe. The global average will not be back to pre-thinning levels for about another 20 years, but it will not be fully repaired up till 2066 in Antarctica, where the layer is at its thinnest. But it is getting better, and the 1987 Montreal Protocol Agreement in reducing the use of ozone-harming chemicals is being credited. So we've done it for acid rain. We are doing it for ozone. There is no reason we can't do it for GHG emissions. We just have to be able, to get our heads together and decide to do that. Other news, researchers from Harvard are connecting the dots about low pollinator numbers and how they contribute to excess deaths every year. And they've discovered that it contributes to about 400,000 excess deaths every year because insects are struggling to find plants and, they can't pollinate. Basically, the way that the cycle goes is fewer pollinators equals poor crop yields with nutritionally dense foods. So there's about a 3 to 5% loss of fruits, vegetables, and nuts that have been happening, which leads to less nutritious and affordable such foods, which leads to less healthy humans who live with chronic and potentially fatal illnesses. And that's why during the COP15 Biodiversity Conference, which happened in Montreal recently, there were a special session specifically dedicated to the importance of pollinators. Now, last year, almost half of Canada's honeybee colonies survived the winter due to invasive species and bad weather. And but there's some good news on that front as well. There's been a development of vaccines for honeybees, believe it or not. So it's a solution that's mixed into what's referred to as the queen feed. And the worker bees come and eat it up, and it gets mixed into the royal jelly. I don't think you're ready for this royal jelly. I don't think you're ready. Sorry, I had to. That gets fed to the queen bee. I'm sorry. They'd take away my membership card if I did it.
Yeah.
That gets fed to the queen bee, and portions of it make it to her ovaries, making it such that the larvae are born with immunity to foul brood disease. Previous treatments included antibiotics or burning the hives within which the disease was found. So, you know what? If we have a vaccine for honeybees, then we just have to worry about the weather and not so much the infections.
Get it in, get it done, get it on, make it happen.
Yes.
Move them up. Right.
Mr. Grizzly, I believe we have a show.
Yes, because you got to mosey on out of here so you can catch your train to Quebec City, mon ami. Eh?
Yes. I'm going to la belle ville de Québec, la vieille capitale. And you know what? It's one of my three favorite cities, right? I'm not talking about towns or whatnot, but the three towns or places I find the most beautiful in all of Canada. Cities now. I'm not talking about like Banff, and, where all these beautiful lakes and stuff are. Victoria, Ottawa, and Quebec City. They're just lovely places. Everywhere you go, you're surrounded by beauty. They're not the biggest places. They're not necessarily the biggest nightlife or whatnot. But yeah, it just oh, Pete, my jelly brings all the bees to the yard, and damn right, it's better than yours.
Whoa. He's like, you haven't visited Australia yet either, mate. So
no, I have not. So yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but there you go. So yeah, but yeah, Ottawa, Quebec City, and Victoria. They're the three cities that I found to be the most beautiful. And everywhere you go, you're surrounded by beauty. So if you're looking for some travel destinations, maybe places that you haven't been to in the country, because you want to have a bit more of a staycation and vacation here at home in Canada, please do take some time to check things out. And if you're worried that in Quebec City people don't speak enough English, that used to be a thing, but ever since they celebrated the 400th, that's really changed. So you can definitely get by.
Well, they like tourism dollars, right?
Yeah,
it's a big boon to the Quebec City economy, or la ville de Quebec. It's a big boon to the economy is tourism. So they realize, we got to get these Anglophone tourists in here to experience the most European city in all of North America. And I'm like, it's good business sense.
Yeah. Well, kids, that's the end of this episode of Just a Nibble. I guess for Friday it's a nibble.
Yeah. For Friday it's usually we go 3 hours. So.
Yeah. So, but this is still a bite because we're closing in on an hour and a half this soon. We hope you love listening to this because, we love making it for you. We really, really, really do. And there's a message in back here on the whiteboard for you, kits. It's Mr. Beaver's Fabulous Friday Fun Zone. So make the weekend absolutely wonderful. Because democracy is something that you do. Please make some time to make a donation to Cornerstone Housing for Women.
Please.
Absolutely. They're an organization that provides services to at least 230 women a day, some of them emerging from situations of domestic violence. They can really use your help. Really solid organization. If you really like this podcast, you can find us on the Dean Blundell Network, as well as anywhere you get all of your podcasts featuring a grizzly bear and a beaver. That would be us. Because, we're the only ones. Please share the podcast, and we love your feedback. We're on Facebook and Twitter, and our email is truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. You can subscribe to us via Podpage, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, all in lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And if you really, 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 really like this podcast and wish to encourage us to do more, we shake it for tips, baby.
Oh, yeah.
We shake it. get a little shoulder action in there for you. So please feel free to buy a
Shimmy.
cup of coffee. Shake those shimmies. Yes, we do. For Mr. Grizzly here, or a mug of hot chocolate for me via our coffee page at ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, lowercase letters. That's ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. And finally, if you happen to be one of these savvy shoppers who loves a good deal and likes to get value for money, well, we've got something for you. Merch. Something literally from everybody, for everybody, from sizes small to 3XL, 6 different designs. My God, I'm tripping all over myself today.
It happens.
But yes, and with more stuff to come soon. We're working on it. Being informed has never been more. Walk, fashion, baby. Go to deanblundell.square.site/s/shop to get yourself some Faboo today, darlings. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, until next time, dear kids, it could be a tough world out there, so be kind to and gentle with yourself, and have an absolutely fantastic weekend, because I will be. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of deep wisdom for our kids?
If you're shoveling snow today and you're over 35 and you don't exercise regularly, please take your time. Don't rush. Take a breather. Relax. We don't need you to have an MI, myocardial infarction. You could have a heart attack. You could end up seriously injured in the hospital or even die. We don't want that. It's only snow. It's not the end of the world. Take a breather. And if you need to, go to my YouTube ASMR channel to calm down and take a few minutes to take a deep cleansing breath and relax, and then go back to shoveling snow later.
Yes.
And that's all I got.
Yeah. Some good advice. We have Kit Hugh here who told us to behave. Yes. Casual Fridays tonight on Black Bolt at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you to Kit James DiFiore for popping into the chat, and thank you, Kit Saucy, for mentioning it. Lazy Sundays with Wade and Doe also this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Take some time to check that out. Really good show. Of course, Dean's show this afternoon. They always take some time to check that out too. Some great entertainment for you here on this channel and information. Thank you, Kit Pete. Thank you, mate. It's so lovely to see you this morning with us.
We're going to have to start sending Pete money. You realize that, right? For the T-shirt sales.
He keeps on saying he doesn't want any, but it's like, dude, man, you gave us beautiful artwork.
Exactly.
You really do. So big hugs to you, mate. I love you. You know it's love and you know it's real. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you, kids, for joining us. We hope that you have a wonderful weekend, that you have great plans, and you're surrounded by love, laughter, and just a good time. Right? Make it special. Treat yourself. Right? All right, Mr. Grizzly, please. Roll the credits.
The True North Eager Beaver podcast is an Eager Beaver Mr. Grizzly collaboration. Research, story, and guest curation and copy written by the Eager Beaver. Recording, production, editing, and additional research by Mr. Grizzly. Music courtesy of Ben Sound Royalty Free Music. Once again, thank you to our founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss Fee Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing and CanadianTarot.com, and thank you to Pete Jarvis for our artwork. We love it. Kids, we'll talk to you real soon. Bye.
Take care.
Bye, kids. Big hugs.
Take care. Bye. Whoops. Where's our thing? I forgot to play. There we go.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, Hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.